Welcome to Minnesota Crime Wave Presents, the program series that asks the questions that you want answers to from authors and others in the book business. I'm Carl Brookins, mystery author, and this is program number 20 in our series. With me in the studio are Ellen Hart. She's the author of the Jane Lawless series, set here in the Twin Cities. And our other co-host is William Kent Kruger, author of the Cork O'Connor series, set up north in the Boundary Waters canoe area in a place called Aurora. A little later, we'll welcome John Torn. He's a book and cover designer, an author, and an all-around talent. First, let's just talk about some book covers. What do you think? Do we like them? Do we not? Do we care? Do we have to worry about them? And can we worry about them?
That's the rub. Yeah.
Let's talk about first the prevailing wisdom in the business, which runs something like this. They did a study. Whoever they is, did a study a while ago to determine what it was that caused readers who walked into a bookstore without any real idea of what they were going to buy a book. And of course, what they found was if you're a reader and you walk into a store, the first thing that's going to catch your eye is the cover.
Right, like this one.
Like that one, exactly. So the question of, is a cover important? The answer, of course, is yes. It's a significant part of selling the product to readers.
What about the rest of it, the cover? What about the end of it?
Well, the end of it, the spine.
The spine, yes.
Technically, we call it the spine.
Is that right?
Yeah. The spine is important because very often that's the only part of a book people are going to see as they scan the shelves. So that's important. The back is important because that's where you have your dust jacket quotes, the kinds of things that are going to recommend the book to people. So the cover itself, I think, is a very important part in selling the product.
So do you like this cover, you guys?
I do.
Like this cover?
Yeah, I do
It's
very much.
fine. I think it's just fine. It accomplishes, one of the things about that cover is that within the image of the gun is Chicago. It's important because it's a book that takes place in Chicago, so it speaks to the setting.
And it tells you it's a hard-boiled novel.
Exactly.
And Sean Cherkover has got to be happy that his name is so large
Yes.
for a second book.
All right, here's another one called Rupture. Now, this name is down at the bottom, but it's still a pretty strong image, don't you think?
Yeah.
Do you know, it's an image that would appeal, I think, to a particular kind of reader. A reader who's looking for a more shocking read might be caught by that book. Red is always a good image cover for color for a book cover.
Now those two books were very glossy and large, and this book is not. This book is small. You can't tell on television, obviously, in its relative size, but it's a much smaller cover.
It has sort of that traditional trade paperback.
It's
a trade paperback. It's larger than a mass market, and the trade paperbacks tend to give a different feel.
I think that's a very classy
So
cover.
do I. And that's what a trade paperback does. It gives a classier feel to the novel. And they spent some time creating a cover that is
the texture,
a little more elegant.
Right.
Now, I show you this one. This is a mass market cover, but it's got some other things going for it.
Bumps and foil.
Bumps and foil?
Yeah, that's what it's called.
Bumps in
Yes.
foil? Or bumps
If you
in?
feel that this is bumps here and then it's foil covered, the name is foil covered, that means that writer has made it.
Is that right?
They don't spend money
didn't
on
know
that if those books don't sell well.
Amazing. I didn't
Never
know.
had a bumps and foil cover.
I haven't either.
Nor have I. All right. Now, here's another one.
Now
What about this?
Yeah, well, we've talked about that. To me, it shrieks small press.
And tell us why it shrieks small press.
To me, and I'm not saying small press is bad. I've been published by many small presses.
right.
So, and it's not but small presses have a tendency to make the author's name very small, not prominent, and they have a tendency to, which they've done here, and they have a tendency to make the title not terribly large.
See, for me,
Look at the difference. Look at the difference between a New York, a book that is done in New York City and a book that is done as a small press. It's light years different.
but it doesn't scream small press to me. What it screams to me is literary noir, because of the coloring, because of the vagueness of the image.
The thing I like about this cover is, I think it's evocative of the content.
Yeah.
See, I'm not sure what the content would necessarily be from that. I don't know what Night Laws would be about. Something that happens at night.
Well, something that
Clearly.
it's maybe nail biting or spine chilling or.
I see this
noir.
cover and I think inexpensive.
Do you?
Yes, because I think a lot of small presses are running on shoestrings.
Let's look at another small press offering that you brought, Easy Innocence.
Okay.
I think that's true. It's right here. I got it.
Okay.
I think that's true, but the size of the headline is not affected by. Doesn't affect the cost, does it? So
No,
why
but
would you think?
because small presses are often, I look at small press books and I see that they are running on a shoestring and that they don't spend a lot of money on their cover. That's just, I mean, this.
And so they end up with small titles.
No, they end up with photographs as opposed to
All right.
artwork.
Now, looking fairly closely at this cover, what do you think it says?
Do you
I
know-
think this is a terrific
I
cover.
think this is a terrific cover, too, because the cover image. This is a book about teenage prostitutes. And if you look at that cover, a teenage girl who is in a very protective, and I love the color of the image itself
beautiful.
against the black background. The image pops
And this
out
is
at you.
covering her eyes. It's almost something out
Almost
of.
like a blindfold, isn't it?
So this is a
Yeah.
small press, but I think somebody spent a lot of time
I do
thinking
too.
about this
Yeah,
particular
I
cover.
do
Yeah,
too.
maybe they didn't spend a lot of money on the cover.
They may not have, but
Somebody spent
it's-
a lot of time thinking
yeah.
about it. You're absolutely right. I think that's very true.
Now, there are some covers that cry
Cry what?
franchise.
Yes,
Wow.
and this is,
Let's-
from across the room, you know that this is part of a series.
Either that
It-
or you're a dummy.
Right, and I mean, a series look is an important thing. It is.
I absolutely agree. If you look at my books, there is continuity
feeling.
in the covers themselves.
In the way-
The way
yes.
the covers are
And we'll look at
handled.
ours later, but yeah.
That's very true. This you can see in a big bookstore, like say a big Barnes and Noble or a big Borders or something like that. You look at this across the room, and you know what this is. At least you may not know the exact title, but you know it's one of the dummy series. And if that's what you're looking for, then you know where to go.
Right where to go.
Have to stop
Exactly.
Yep.
and ask somebody.
They don't reinvent the wheel every time with every book. Everything, it's all part of a series.
What else do you want to say about covers?
Let's take a look at S.J. Roseanne's
Yeah.
novel. This
right.
this was a prize winner.
See how easy we are to get along with
Okay,
tonight?
this was an Edgar Award winner. This was, I know they posed this book to be a breakout novel for S.J. And
And it was.
yeah, well, it didn't break her out quite as much as she'd hoped.
Well, it won the
But
Edgar.
look at the cover itself. I mean, you've pointed out
Yeah.
that it just screams big book.
It does.
Her name is much larger than, well, it's larger than the title. The color itself really speaks to the content.
And
wanna
it's
talk about-
evocative.
I wanna talk about the color.
moon up here.
I want to
and-
talk about
Okay.
the cover in this a little bit. This book to me speaks of a northern winter.
It's actually a New York winter.
Okay, I knew well.
In this
all right,
case.
but that's northern. But in winter in Florida wouldn't look like this. would
No,
it?
No,
palm tree with
No.
Christmas lights on
right.
it.
So, do you think that means that this book is not going to be picked up as easily by a reader in, say, Key West? as
Well,
opposed
if you want to read
Cincinnati?
Carl Hyacin, no. I mean, this is obviously is going to have some brooding elements in it. It's not going to be a comedy. I mean, I think the book cover tells you a lot about what the book's going to be about.
I wonder if they even thought about that, Carl, as they were designing the book, because that's an interesting consideration.
I think they do.
Do you?
I do.
I would hope so. However they come out at the end, it's really hard to know.
Do we have an example of a book that's really horrible cover,
Oh,
we
yeah.
believe?
I think this is one of the worst covers I've
There
ever
you go.
seen. But it's one of the best books
You're
I have
in here
read.
first.
Yeah.
Folks. We think, the Crime Wave thinks, so you got to be in this too, Ken, that this is a really bad cover.
I do. But
do
it's a great book. It's called The Gift of Fear by Gavin de Becker, and
It
it's
says A Gift of Something by Gavin de Becker.
an enormously wonderful book. But it
read
looks
this.
like an eye chart.